Hey everyone, welcome to English Speak Pulse. I'm Danielle, and today we're diving into a topic that so many people dream about, making money while you sleep. Yes, we're talking about passive income online.
And I'm Sarah. Think about it. Most of us trade hours for money, right? You work, you get paid. But what if you could create systems, digital assets, or investments that keep earning for you, even when you're not working?
Exactly. Imagine waking up in the morning, checking your phone, and seeing you've earned money overnight. No boss, no extra shifts, just income flowing in while you're living your life. That's the power of passive income.
But here's the catch. Passive income doesn't mean instant money. It takes smart planning, effort at the beginning, and building the right systems. The exciting part is, once those systems are in place, they can keep rewarding you for years.
So whether you're dreaming of financial freedom, saving for the future, or just wanting some extra income on the side, today's session is for you. We'll break down real strategies, step by step, so you can see exactly how people are doing this, and how you can too.
By the end, you'll have a clear picture of what passive income online really is, what's possible for you, and how to start your own journey, without the confusion or the get-rich-quick traps.
All right, let's jump in. This is going to be exciting, because once you understand the mindset and the methods, you'll realize that financial freedom isn't just a dream. It's something you can actually build.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today our mission is, well, it's about cutting through all the noise, really, all that financial advice out there.
Yeah.
We want to target this single most critical step, the one people often miss when trying to get some financial momentum going. And look, we're not diving into stocks or crypto or specific real estate strategies just yet. Not today. We're digging into the mental upgrade, the mindset shift you absolutely need for passive income.
Yeah, exactly. And for those of you listening, maybe you're trying to get this knowledge quickly, but also, really get it. We've pulled together the core mental frameworks from all the source material we looked at. And this is just so crucial because if you don't nail this perspective, change first. None of the strategies we talk about later, they just won't stick. You'll likely just give up when things feel a bit tough.
Okay, so let's start right there. Let's define the active income trap. Because this is the default, right? It's the dominant model for almost everyone. Basically, you're exchanging your time for money. If you don't show up, if you don't clock in, you don't get paid. Simple as that. It feels secure, sure, but there's this invisible ceiling attached to it.
And that ceiling is the hard limit of time itself. I mean, you brought up a really good point earlier when we were prepping. What about, say, a top corporate lawyer? Or maybe a highly skilled surgeon making, I don't know, $500, $600 an hour. Haven't they kind of, essentially broken that time limit in practice?
Yeah, that's the pushback you hear, right? If I just charge enough per hour, doesn't my income become, well, effectively limitless?
The sources we looked at, they really push back on that. They insist the answer is still no. Even at $600 an hour, you're still bound by, physics. You've only got 24 hours in a day. You need sleep. You probably want some family time, basic life stuff. You can't actually scale past your own physical presence being there. So even that highly skilled labor, fundamentally, it's still linear. 1 hour worked, 1 hour paid.
And that linearity, that's the core problem we're trying to solve here. And the only way to break that, according to this deep dive material, is by establishing passive income streams. But we've got to be really clear right off the bat, what does passive actually mean? Because, people hear that and they picture lying on a beach somewhere.
Right, while money just magically appears in their bank account. Yeah, it definitely doesn't mean doing nothing forever. That's probably the biggest misconception out there. Passive income really means putting in significant concentrated effort up front. You're building something, an asset, or creating a system, and then you let that system generate returns later with ideally minimal daily input from you. It's all about front-loading the work.
Okay, that upfront effort part is key. So let's use that analogy from the source material, the tree analogy. I think that really helps unpack the mechanics here. Active income, they say, is like going to the market every single day to buy fruit. You want an apple. You pay your money. You get the apple. Transaction's done.
Whereas passive income, that's like planting the fruit tree yourself. And that initial effort, it's real work. You're digging the hole, watering the sapling, protecting it from bad weather, pests, and you see zero fruit for months, maybe even years sometimes, depending on the tree. But once it matures, that tree can give you fruit season after season, maybe for a decade, maybe longer. You did the heavy lifting once, but the rewards, they keep coming, and they're detached from your day-to-day labor.
So, planting that tree. What does that look like today, say in 2024? The sources gave some good examples, especially around digital assets.
Yeah, and the great thing is, the barrier to entry for some of these things, it's never been lower. The trees are often digital now. So maybe it's writing an ebook on a topic you know well, something evergreen, or building a niche website, one that earns through affiliate links, or maybe some ad revenue. Creating an online course is a big one, or even just discipline investing in dividend-paying stocks. These are all assets that can keep rewarding you long after you've done the initial setup work.
Okay, this all sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
But it leads straight into that major sticking point, doesn't it? The whole easy money myth. If the barrier's low, like you said, why isn't everyone doing this successfully?
Because the upfront effort is real. That's the disconnect. The second people hear passive, they often jump to effortless, and that's just not it. The mindset shift isn't about working harder. Necessarily, we already talked about the time limit. It's about working smarter. It's about creating value that lasts, value that can be replicated almost infinitely without you personally repeating the effort each time.
But isn't it just, easier, safer, maybe?
Yeah.
To stick with what you know, that reliable paycheck, that immediate cash flow. It feels hard to justify spending, say, 3 months building some digital thing that might work versus just taking on an extra freelance project that guarantees money now. That's the real mental hurdle, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely it is. You're fighting against that deeply ingrained belief that income has to be immediate. If I work today, I get paid today or, this week. But if we look at the comparison, the fundamental difference comes down to scalability.
Okay, walk us through that. Give us the scalability comparison.
Okay, let's take that online course example again. Let's say you spend 2 solid months planning, recording videos, editing, setting up the marketing. That's your upfront work. Your tree planting. Now, once that course is live, it can be sold and downloaded, hundreds, maybe thousands of times, potentially more. You did the core work once, but you get paid every single time someone clicks buy. The cost to deliver that value to one more person, it's practically zero for a digital product. So your earning potential isn't tied to your hours anymore. Theoretically, it's, much, much higher.
Right, and that's such a stark contrast to, say, the consultant example. Even at $600 an hour, they have to physically or mentally repeat that labor for every single hour they get paid. So the core mindset shift we need to make, the thing we really need to internalize, is moving away from that comfort zone of I work now, I get paid now, towards this growth mindset of I create something valuable now and I benefit from it for years to come.
Exactly. And that long-term view, it's really supported by 3 foundational beliefs. The sources really emphasize these. If you can truly internalize these 3, then the actual mechanics, the how-to of passive income, it just follows much more naturally.
Okay, good. Let's break those down. What are the pillars holding up this new way of thinking?
All right. First, you have to fundamentally believe in value creation over time trading. See yourself not as selling hours off the clock, but as building an asset, something valuable that solves a problem or provides a benefit for lots of people. Second, and this is a big one, delayed gratification. You have to truly accept that you'll put in significant work today, maybe for weeks or months, and the financial rewards. They might not show up until much later, months, maybe even a year or more down the road. And third is scalability. Your aim should be to create something that, once it's built, can reach and serve hundreds or thousands or even more people without needing proportionally more effort from you for each new person.
Okay, of those 3, they're all important, but that middle one, delayed gratification, I think that's got to be the toughest one for most people today. We live in this world that's just built for instant hits, right? Fast food, 2-day delivery, social media likes popping up. We expect results now. So when someone spends, 4 weeks writing an ebook, they launch it, and it makes like $0 in the first month.
Yeah.
They feel like a failure.
Yeah.
And they often just drop it right there.
Absolutely. That's so common. I remember years ago starting my first blog that I hoped would generate some income those first maybe 3-4 months. It honestly felt like shouting into the void. You have to actively fight that urge to check your website stats every hour because, frankly, the numbers are usually pretty depressing at the start. You've got to reframe that initial silence. It's not failure. It's just, it's part of a necessary growth cycle, like the seed underground before it sprouts.
That really is the ultimate test of this mindset shift then, isn't it? Do you trust the process? Do you trust what you're building, even when there's absolute no external validation yet, no visible proof it's working?
Precisely. And the people who actually win with passive income, the ones who really make it work long term, they're almost always the ones who stay consistent. They trust the system they're building. They understand that the growth curve usually isn't this nice, steady, linear thing. It often starts slow, maybe flatlines for a bit, and then it can become exponential.
Yeah, it makes me think of that story that was mentioned in the source material about the friend who started a YouTube channel on a really specific niche topic. Apparently for the first 6 months, he was pouring hours into it, scripting, filming, editing, and his videos were getting maybe like 100 views each, if that. He was pretty discouraged, obviously. But he kept doing it. He kept publishing because he'd really bought into this idea of creating assets, not just trading time.
And that commitment, that consistency, it's just everything in this model. All that effort he put into those first dozen or so videos, figuring out the tech, the learning curve, building a system for scripting, editing, that was the foundation. That was the real seed planting.
Right. And now, fast forward 2 years later, that channel, just from the ads running on those old videos and some affiliate links in the descriptions, it makes him enough money to cover his entire rent each month, passively. And the point isn't even that he got super rich from it, necessarily. The point is he built a system, a reliable system that generates income whether he actively works on the channel that day or not. It just perfectly illustrates that pattern, that slow, often difficult beginning, followed by relentless consistency, and then eventually that accelerated exponential growth phase.
Yeah, it's a great example, and it also highlights something else that's crucial, the role of imagination in all of this. If you genuinely cannot picture yourself earning money outside of the traditional job structure, that time for money exchange, you'll probably never put in the sustained effort needed for that passive income tree to actually grow. The idea that time must equal money is just so deeply wired into us, it almost feels like a law of nature we can't break.
Okay, so let's try and challenge that law right now. Let's do a really quick visualization exercise for everyone listening. Just take a second and think about that asset you might create. Maybe it's that ebook or the online course or some kind of automated system. Picture it. Now imagine waking up tomorrow morning. You check your phone, maybe before you even get out of bed, and there's a notification. You've earned $75 or whatever amount while you were asleep, or maybe while you were out walking the dog or taking your kid to school.
Hold on to that feeling, that specific feeling, the sense of freedom maybe, or control, that separation between your immediate effort and the reward. That emotional resonance, that's the fuel. That's what you need to tap into to keep going, to stay consistent during that, potentially long and slow setup phase when the results aren't obvious yet.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for the path forward? I think the summary of this whole mindset shift is pretty clear now. You're fundamentally changing your relationship with work, with how you earn. You're moving from actively trading your limited time to the long-term creation of value. You shift from needing that instant gratification, that immediate payout, to trusting in the delayed reward that comes from building something lasting.
Exactly. And once you've really cemented that psychological foundation, truly believing that you can create something, a business or an asset that operates and earns somewhat independently of your daily grind, well then all the tools, the strategies, the different platforms we might discuss in future deep dives, they become so much more effective. They become sustainable because the core belief is there.
Yeah, and this deep dive really hammered home that this shift, ultimately, it isn't just about piling up more money, is it? It's about getting the ultimate dividend from all this, which is freedom. Freedom of your time, freedom of choice, freedom to design your life more on your own terms. And if you can successfully make this initial mental upgrade we've been talking about, you've honestly already taken the single hardest step.
Right. So if making this perspective change is the hardest step, here's the final thought we want to leave you with today. Something to maybe mull over. What personal belief, what idea that you currently hold as like absolute unshakable truth about how your income works, that deep down assumption, maybe time equals money or something similar. What's the first thing you might need to actively challenge, to question, maybe even to unlearn in order to start moving towards that freedom? Just think about that one core belief. We'll get into more specific, actionable strategies for building those assets.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so we've spent a fair bit of time looking at the mindset stuff for financial freedom, that big shift away from just trading hours for dollars.
Moving towards building actual long-term value.
Exactly. But now it's really time to get practical. I mean, the question we hear constantly is, okay, I get passive income in theory, but what do I actually build? Like, what's the thing?
And that's precisely what we want to tackle today. Moving from the why to the what and how, when we talk about income streams that, don't need your constant hands-on effort every single hour, we're talking about digital assets.
Digital assets. Well,
think of them as like leveraged creation. You put in the work upfront, your time, your knowledge, and the thing you create, this digital property, potentially keeps generating value or income down the line.
And the amazing part, which our sources really highlight, is how accessible this is now.
Totally.
It's not like starting, say, a factory or even a shop. You don't need huge capital for land or inventory. Basically, a laptop and internet connection.
And some creativity, yeah. The ability to solve a problem or share something useful, that's the barrier to entry, much lower than traditional business.
It really is revolutionary when you think about it.
It is. So to help structure this, because it's a huge topic, we've sort of boiled down the sources into 4 main types of digital assets, the kinds most people, starting out, could realistically aim for.
Okay, let's lay those out quickly. First up, we've got content-based assets. So that's things like blogs, YouTube channels, maybe podcasts, stuff that makes money based on reach.
Yep. Then category 2, product-based assets. Think ebooks, online courses, maybe useful templates, things you create once and sell directly.
Got it. Then there are the maybe slightly more complex platform-based assets, things like niche membership sites or maybe even simple software apps.
Exactly. And finally, the 4th category is financial digital assets. So actively managed stock portfolios, maybe some crypto strategies, things like that. Now, for this deep dive, we really want to focus on what you can build with low startup cost.
Right. Focus on creation, not just investing large sums.
Precisely. So categories 1 and 2, content and products, that's where we'll spend our time today. Platforms and financial assets, they're important, but honestly, they involve software development or deep financial strategy.
Yeah, they probably need their own deep dives later.
Definitely. So let's stick with the entry points. Knowledge and effort, not necessarily huge capital.
Makes sense. Let's dive into content assets then. Say writing is your thing, or you're comfortable on camera. A blog seems like a natural fit. But how do you go from just like writing for fun to actually making it a real asset that generates revenue?
It really starts with consistency and, crucially, focusing on a specific niche. The upfront effort is significant, no doubt. You're writing, you're learning about SEO, search engine optimization.
And make sure people can actually find your stuff.
Exactly. You're building authority.
Yeah.
And yeah, for the first 6 months, maybe longer, the income is likely 0. Or close to it.
Ouch, okay.
But as your content library grows, as your footprint expands online, the sources show 2 main ways monetization starts to, kick in almost automatically.
Okay, what are they?
First is advertising, simple display ads. Once your site gets enough traffic, you can put ads on it, and you get paid based on views, basically cost per mil or CPM.
Per 1,000 views, right?
Right. The second path, and this is often quicker for newcomers, is affiliate marketing. You recommend products or services you actually use and trust.
Within your content?
Yeah, naturally integrated. And if someone clicks your special link and buys that thing, you get a commission.
Okay, but let's circle back to that time investment. 6 months, maybe more, working for free, essentially. That sounds like a huge risk, especially if someone needs income, like now. How do the sources suggest dealing with that?
That's a really critical question, and it highlights why strategy matters from day one. You have to treat the content creation almost like building inventory for a shop. It's an investment.
Correct.
The food blog example we looked at is perfect here.
Yeah.
The creator spent the first year just churning out high-quality recipes in a very specific niche. Very little ad money coming in.
So where did the first real income come from?
It wasn't the big ad networks at first. It was cleverly placed affiliate links. Links to specific, maybe unusual cooking tools or ingredients within the recipes.
Ah, so highly relevant recommendations.
Exactly. Even with a small, dedicated audience, the conversion rate on those links was decent because the recommendations felt authentic and useful in context. That small, steady affiliate income. It wasn't huge, but it provided that psychological boost.
And maybe a little financial runway, too.
Precisely. Enough to keep going until the blog grew big enough to attract the better-paying ad networks later on.
And that really speaks to the compounding effect, doesn't it? Every blog post, every video, it's not just for today. It stays online, indexed by Google, potentially drawing traffic and clicks years later.
It's like you're building this little digital sales team that works for you 24/7, even while you sleep.
It's not just a pile of articles, it's an engine.
That's a great way to put it. The power isn't just in the creation, it's in the ongoing automated distribution and potential monetization. You build the thing once, but its ability to attract eyeballs and generate value. Theoretically, that continues indefinitely. That's why content is so foundational.
Okay, so that's the content route value through communication, aiming for reach. But what if you're not really a writer or a video person? Maybe you prefer working behind the scenes, building something functional.
Well, that leads us perfectly into the second category, product assets.
Right. These seem maybe less daunting if you're not trying to build a huge audience first.
Often, yes. And the key is realizing you don't need to build something massive. People hear ebook or online course, and they imagine, I don't know, a textbook or a full university semester.
Yeah, totally intimidating.
But the sources are clear. The most successful digital products often solve a very specific, often small problem really well. Your ebook doesn't need to be 300 pages on everything about fitness.
It could be.
It could be the 20-page guide to fixing your slice in golf, or a 30-day meal prep plan for busy professionals. Short, focused, high-value problem solving. It uses your specific know-how to get someone a quick win.
And this taps into skills people already have, right?
Yeah.
Photography, coding, maybe even knitting or dog training.
Absolutely. Whatever you know well, you can likely package it. Platforms like Udemy, Skillshare, Teachable, they handle all the tech headaches. The hosting, the payments, sometimes even finding the students. You just provide the knowledge structured as a course.
And you also mentioned templates earlier. That seems like a really interesting angle.
Oh, the template economy is fascinating. Don't underestimate this. It's pure leverage. If you can design something that saves someone hours of fiddling, they'll often happily pay for it.
Like what kind of things?
Graphic design templates for social media, professional resume layouts, complex spreadsheet dashboards for budgeting or project management. You create the file once. You upload it to a marketplace like Etsy or Gumroad.
And they handle the sales and delivery.
Completely automated. Payment processing, sending the file to the buyer. You can sell that same template thousands of times with basically zero extra effort per sale.
That really brings us back to that budgeting spreadsheet story you mentioned. It wasn't some fancy software.
No, not at all. It was, at its core, an Excel spreadsheet. Sold for like $5. But it wasn't just a blank spreadsheet.
What made it valuable then?
It solved a real pain point effectively. It wasn't just about listing income and expenses. The creator had built in the right formulas. Things like automatically calculating rough tax estimates based on income brackets, or visualizing spending categories, or tracking debt payoff progress. Stuff that takes time to figure out yourself.
Ah, so it automated the annoying, complex bits. It was like a mini financial assistant built into Excel.
Exactly. It probably took the user 2 minutes to input their numbers, and boom, instant overview. Saved them hours of manual calculation or tracking each month.
So the perceived value the time saved was way higher than the $5 cost.
Massively higher. He probably spent, a week perfecting that template, uploaded it, and because it solved that common frustration so elegantly, thousands bought it. That single asset just keeps generating income. Minimal maintenance, maximum leverage.
That's a powerful example. Okay, so we have these two main buckets. Content, focusing on reach and often monetized indirectly, and products, focused on direct utility and sales.
Sure.
How do we think about strategy, putting it all together?
Well, first, as we said, it's got to align with your skills and honestly, your personality. Are you a communicator or a builder? But second, it's useful to understand how these differ from that third category, platforms. That sometimes gets muddy.
Yeah, help clarify that. If I build a niche website with tons of articles, isn't that kind of a platform?
Not quite in the way we're defining it here. A content asset, like a typical blog, is usually free and open. The goal is maximum traffic, maximum eyeballs for ads or affiliate clicks. A platform asset, though, is generally built around controlled access. Often, there's a recurring fee. Think of a private membership site offering exclusive data, or a community forum, or maybe a special tool only members can use. The value isn't just the content, it's the gate or the specific functionality behind it.
Gotcha. So platform equals exclusivity, recurring revenue, often based on function. Content equals broad reach, often monetized by volume.
That's a good way to summarize it.
Yeah.
And understanding this difference really highlights the core advantage of almost all digital assets: scalability.
The magic word.
Right. Think about a traditional job. If you want to double your income, what usually has to happen?
Work twice as many hours, get a major promotion, find a whole new higher paying job. It's usually a direct trade of more time or much higher responsibility.
Exactly. That's the time for money trap we want to escape. Now think about a digital asset. Let's say you spend 5 hours writing a really good blog post or recording a course module. That effort is fixed. 5 hours. Done. But whether one person reads that post or 10,000 people read it, your effort remains 5 hours. The cost to deliver it to the 10,000th person is virtually zero.
Right. The income potential completely disconnects from the time spent serving each additional customer.
That is the fundamental magic. That's the shift towards truly passive income potential. The initial creation effort is the hurdle, but once it's built.
The cost of scaling can approach zero. Inertia is the enemy, but momentum is incredibly powerful once you get it going.
You got it. And once you grasp that, the idea of stacking assets starts to make a lot of sense. This is where things can really accelerate.
You mean not just having one thing?
Yeah. You don't just build a blog or an ebook, you build an ecosystem. Your successful blog becomes the free marketing channel for your related ebook.
And the ebook maybe captures email addresses.
Exactly. Maybe you offer a free chapter or a checklist from the ebook as a lead magnet to get emails. And those emails, you use them to tell people about your more in-depth online course. Each asset feeds the next.
It's like planting a garden where the different plants help each other grow, automating the marketing funnel in a way.
That's a great analogy. But this does bring us to the necessary reality check.
Ah, yes. Important dose of realism.
We have to be super clear. Passive does not mean effortless or instant. Not at all. That initial creation phase and then the time it takes for things to gain traction, it demands real persistence.
What kind of time frame are we talking, typically?
Well, the sources consistently suggest bracing for, say, 6 to 12 months of consistent work on a blog before you see significant traffic, or maybe needing 30, 50, even more videos before YouTube's algorithm really starts picking up your channel.
So it's about playing the long game. Consistency over short bursts of intensity, and having the patience, maybe the financial buffer, to keep going when those early metrics look pretty depressing.
Absolutely. You have to commit to the process long before you see the payoff. It really is a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, that's crucial context. So let's make this super actionable for everyone listening right now. If you're feeling ready to maybe plant that first seed today, grab a pen or open a note app and really think about these 3 questions.
Good idea.
First, what specific skills or knowledge do I already have, maybe from work, maybe from hobbies, that could genuinely help someone else solve a problem? Be specific. Second, which format actually excites me? Am I drawn to writing and figuring out SEO? Do I like the idea of video or visual design? Or am I more interested in creating practical tools like templates or calculators?
Yeah, lean into what you might actually enjoy doing consistently.
And third, thinking really small and focused. What's the smallest, most immediate problem I could potentially solve for someone online right now? Don't think epic solutions, think quick wins.
And I'll add one final piece of advice to that.
Yeah.
Please don't let perfectionism paralyze you.
Ooh, big one.
Huge. That $5 spreadsheet guy, his spreadsheet probably wasn't the most beautiful thing ever. It didn't need to be. It just needed to be effective. It needed to work and solve the problem. So start simple. Start imperfectly.
Just get something out there.
Yes. Launch that short, focused, 20-page ebook. Publish those first 10 blog posts, even if they're not prize winners. The most critical step is just starting the process, getting that first asset built and online.
Because once you do that, once you navigate the process, once setting up the site or the payment system or learning basic SEO, you understand the mechanics.
Exactly. And then you can refine, improve, duplicate, and scale that process much more easily for the next asset and the one after that.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, what's the core takeaway?
I think the main thing is this. Digital assets are like the seeds for building real financial freedom because they represent leverage creation. You invest your effort up front, you build the thing once.
And it has the potential to reward you, financially or otherwise, long after that initial work is done.
That's the essence of it. Create once, benefit potentially forever.
Love it. Okay, so as you listening are thinking about building your own online fortress, maybe starting with content or a simple product. Here's a final thought to chew on.
Ooh, I like a provocative thought.
We focused entirely today on building your own thing, your blog, your course, your template. But what if you could tap into this passive income potential online without creating your own product, without writing a single blog post yourself?
Leveraging other people's work.
Exactly. How can you start earning potentially passive income by promoting things that already exist and are already successful? That's the next layer, a really powerful one in this whole strategy. And that's where we'll go deep next time. Okay, let's dive deep today into something a lot of people are curious about. Making money online, but without having to create your own product from scratch.
Right. We're talking about passive income, specifically through affiliate marketing, combined with, well, putting out good content. It's a really common starting point.
It really is, because you skip the whole inventory headache, right?
Yeah.
No shipping, no customer service nightmares.
Exactly. Affiliate marketing, at its core, is basically partnering up with companies that already exist. You promote their stuff, use a special link they go, and boom, you get a commission when someone buys through that link.
It feels like a win-win-win almost.
Yeah.
The company makes a sale, the customer finds something they needed.
And you, the promoter, earn something for making that connection, all without touching a product.
So our mission today is to really unpack this, not just the definition, but the actual steps, the mindset you need to actually make this work.
Yeah, moving beyond the basics. Like, how does this actually function day to day?
Let's use a simple example first. Say you love reading books. You could start a blog or maybe a YouTube channel reviewing books you've read.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going.
Then you sign up for something like Amazon's affiliate program, Amazon Associates. You put your unique link in your review.
And if someone clicks that link and buys the book, you get a small percentage. Simple concept, right?
Super simple concept.
Yeah.
But the potential is way bigger than just books on Amazon.
Oh, way bigger. That's a thing. Affiliate programs exist in pretty much every industry you can think of. Tech gadgets, fitness gear, fashion, online courses, software, you name it.
So whatever your passion is, chances are you can find a way to monetize it through this model.
Almost certainly. Which leads to the next crucial piece, the content. Affiliate marketing on its own is, well, it's just links.
Right. Content creation is what makes it powerful. That's the magnet for your audience.
It's the engine, really. Your blog posts, your videos, your TikToks, maybe even a podcast. That's what attracts people and, crucially, builds trust. Without trust, those links are useless.
Okay, so let's break down the process. What are the core steps if someone wants to start this?
Right, let's lay it out. There are basically 5 key stages, give or take. First, choose a niche. And be specific, something you genuinely enjoy or know a lot about, like not just fitness, maybe kettlebell training for beginners.
Okay, niche down. Makes sense. What's next?
Second, create valuable content around that niche, consistently. Blog posts, videos, tutorials, reviews, whatever fits you and the niche.
Content engine. Got it. Step 3.
Sign up for relevant affiliate programs. This isn't just Amazon. Look for specific brands in your niche or networks like ClickBank, Share a Sale, CJ Affiliate. There are tons.
You have to actually apply and get approved for these usually.
Usually, yes. Then, fourth, you naturally weave your affiliate links into your content. Keyword, naturally. Don't be pushy. Recommend things you actually believe in.
That feels critical. Authenticity matters.
Hugely. And finally, fifth, you earn commissions when people buy through your links, and you track what works, what doesn't, and adjust.
What I love about this, especially step 2, the content creation part, is that it becomes an asset.
Exactly. That blog post you write today, that video you upload, it can sit there and potentially earn you money for months, even years. It's not like trading hours for dollars directly.
It works while you sleep, potentially.
That's the dream, right? But it builds on that initial work. Now, something beginners often miss is the technical side of step 3, choosing programs.
Oh, like what?
Things like cookie duration. You know, how long after someone clicks your link do you still get credit if they buy?
Ah, right. Amazon's pretty short, isn't it? Like 24 hours?
Yeah, often just 24 hours. But lots of other programs, especially for software or courses, might offer 30, 60, even 90 days. That's a massive difference.
Wow. Okay, so someone clicks, thinks about it for 2 months, then buys, and you can still get the commission.
Exactly. That longer decision window is huge for higher priced items or subscriptions. Think software as a service, SaaS.
That makes sense. And are there programs where you get paid repeatedly?
Yes, that's another key thing. Recurring commissions. If you recommend, say, a web hosting service or a marketing software that charges monthly.
You get a cut every month they stay subscribed.
Often, yes. You make the sale once, but you keep earning. That is where the truly passive income potential really starts to kick in.
Okay, that's powerful. But, with all this potential, isn't the market just completely flooded? How does a newcomer even stand a chance?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And the answer comes back to trust and specificity.
Specificity again.
Yes, the market is saturated with general advice, trying to review the best laptops. Good luck competing with massive tech sites.
Right, impossible odds.
But what if you focus? What if your niche is, say, the best laptops for graphic design students on a budget? Or rugged smartwatches for trail runners?
You carve out a micro niche, a specific audience with a specific problem.
Precisely. You become the go-to expert for that very specific thing, and that builds immense trust. People looking for that specific solution will find you and trust your detailed advice over a generic list.
So it's about positioning yourself as an advisor, not just a salesperson, listing features.
Absolutely. Don't just say what a product does. Explain why it matters to your specific audience. Solve their problem. Tell them who it's not for, even. That honesty builds credibility like nothing else.
I heard this story, maybe from one of the sources we looked at, about a guy who built a whole website just about coffee makers.
Yes, I remember that one. Seems incredibly narrow, right? Just coffee makers.
Totally. Drip, espresso, pour over, grinders. That was it.
But think about it. If you're about to drop $500 or more on a fancy espresso machine, are you going to trust a quick mention on a general home goods blog?
No way. I want the deep dive. I want the opinion of someone who's clearly obsessed with coffee makers and has tested dozens.
Exactly. And because he went so deep and built that specific trust, that site started generating over $10,000 a month in affiliate commissions.
That's incredible. From coffee makers.
It proves the power of niche depth. And here's a related point. Audience quality over quantity. A small, highly engaged blog with maybe only 5,000 visitors a month, but they're all actively looking to buy that specific thing you talk about. That can often earn way more than some huge Instagram page with 100,000 casual followers who aren't really in buying mode.
Because the intent is higher with the niche audience. They're further down the buying funnel.
You got it. Specificity drives intent, which drives conversions.
Okay, so practically speaking, let's say I've picked my niche. Maybe it's sustainable travel gear. Where do I actually find these affiliate programs beyond just Amazon?
Good question. Amazon Associates is great for physical products for sure, but you need to look further. Check out affiliate networks.
Like the ones you mentioned earlier, ClickBank, ShareSale.
Exactly. ClickBank is strong for digital products like ebooks and courses. ShareSale and CJ Affiliate host thousands of programs from individual brands across many categories: clothing, software, equipment, you name it.
So you join the network, and then you can apply to specific brands within it.
Correct. But also, don't forget to check the websites of the specific brands or software companies you like directly. Many run their own internal affiliate programs.
Going direct.
Yeah. And sometimes you get better commission rates or terms by going direct because there's no network taking a cut. Just got to look around on their site, usually in the footer, for an affiliates or partners link.
Okay. So for starting out, you'd still recommend a blog or YouTube. Keep it simple.
Definitely. Play to your strengths, like writing. Start a blog. Comfortable on camera. YouTube. You really don't need fancy gear. Your smartphone is probably good enough to start. Focus on the content quality, not production value initially.
And what kinds of content tend to work best for actually, making sales beyond just straight reviews?
Reviews are foundational, yeah. But comparison posts are huge. Product X versus product Y for specific use case. People love those when they're stuck between options.
Okay, comparisons. What else?
Tutorials are great. Show people how to do something using the product you recommend. It provides value and showcases the product naturally.
Like a how to set up software tool video.
Exactly. Also, best of lists or roundups targeting a specific goal, like top 5 tools for starting a freelance business, or content that focuses on a problem first and then presents the product as the solution.
Got it. Solve the reader's problem. Now, there's a more advanced strategy people talk about. Email lists.
Yes, the email list. This is where you can really elevate things from just getting clicks to building a sustainable business.
Why is it so important?
Because it gives you a direct line to your audience. If someone visits your blog or watches your video and leaves, you might never reach them again. But if they join your email list...
You own that connection. You're not dependent on Google's algorithm or YouTube's whims.
Precisely. You build the relationship over time directly in their inbox.
So how do you get people onto the list? You can't just ask, right?
Well, you can ask, but it works much better if you offer something valuable in return. A lead magnet.
Like a free guide or checklist.
Exactly. Something genuinely useful related to your niche. Using the coffee example, maybe the ultimate guide to choosing your perfect coffee maker. They give you their email, you give them the guide.
Okay, so they're on the list. Now what? Do you just bombard them with affiliate links?
No, definitely not. That kills trust instantly. You need an automated email sequence, often called a funnel or autoresponder.
Automated.
Yeah, you set it up once. The first few emails should just provide more value, build more trust, maybe expand on the topic of the lead magnets.
So it's pure value first.
Pure value. Then, strategically, you start weaving in relevant recommendations. If the lead magnet was about starting a podcast, maybe email 3 talks about choosing a microphone with your affiliate link.
Email 4 about editing software with a link.
Email 5 about hosting platforms. You get the idea. It's integrated naturally into helpful content.
And because this sequence runs automatically whenever someone signs up.
That's the money while you sleep part people talk about. The system, the content attracting visitors, the lead magnet capturing emails, the automated sequence nurturing and recommending it works 24/7 once it's built.
The system becomes the asset. Okay, that makes total sense. But we have to manage expectations here. This sounds great, but it's not instant, is it?
Not even close. This is the crucial reality check. This is not a get-rich-quick thing. It takes time. A lot of time, often.
How much time are we talking?
It depends. If you're relying on SEO for a blog, getting Google to notice you and send significant traffic, you might be looking at 6 months, maybe even 12, of consistent, high-quality publishing before it really starts to pay off.
12 months. Wow, okay. What about YouTube?
Similar story, different platform. You might need to publish 20, 30, maybe even 50 solid videos before the algorithm really starts picking up your channel and showing it to more people. There's usually a grind phase.
So patience and consistency are non-negotiable.
Absolutely mandatory. This is where most people quit. They publish a few articles or videos, see little traffic and $0, and assume it doesn't work.
But the ones who succeed are the ones who just keep going.
They're the ones who stick with it through that initial quiet period. They keep publishing, keep learning, keep refining. Persistence trumps talent here, honestly. Everyone starts from 0.
That's actually encouraging in a way. It's not magic, it's work.
It's focused work over time. So the call to action for anyone listening, don't get overwhelmed by the whole system yet. Start small and authentic.
How small?
Ask yourself right now, what's one product, one tool, one service you already use almost every day and genuinely find valuable, something you could easily talk about?
Okay, find that one thing.
Then just think, how could you share your experience with that one thing? Could you write a short blog post about why you like it? Film a quick phone video showing how you use it. That's your starting point. One piece of authentic content about something you know.
That feels manageable. Start with what you know, share it genuinely.
Combine that with the affiliate link for that product, disclose it properly, and you've taken the first step. Build from there.
So to wrap up, find your niche, ideally something specific you know and like. Create valuable content consistently around it. Choose the right affiliate programs, thinking about cookie duration and recurring potential. Build trust above all else, and maybe start building that email list.
That's the path. It's probably one of the most accessible routes to building real passive income online, but it requires that upfront investment of time and consistent effort.
And once you've mastered this,
Yeah.
promoting other people's stuff effectively,
Well, that's when the next level opens up, isn't it? You've built the audience, you've built the trust, you've proven you can sell via content.
you can start selling your own knowledge.
Exactly. Package your expertise, your checklists, your methods, your deep insights. Turn them into your own digital products, an online course, an ebook, a template library.
And suddenly you're not just earning a commission, you're keeping most of the revenue.
That's when the income potential truly transforms. But it all starts with mastering that foundation, creating valuable content that builds specific trust.
Whether you're selling someone else's product or your own, that foundation trust built through value is everything. That's the real key.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, our mission, well, it's all about maximum leverage, really. We're looking at a whole stack of sources on one of the most popular routes to financial independence. How to create real, sustainable, passive income using digital products.
Yeah, it's a really potent idea, isn't it? You put in the work once, capture what you know, and then you build a system so that product can sell again and again, ideally, without you touching it much.
Right. And the sources stress you, the listener. You don't need some huge following to start. You just need knowledge or maybe a skill that solves a problem or offers a shortcut someone else values.
Exactly. Everyone has something they could potentially package.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our sources seem to group digital products mainly by how much effort they take to create upfront. Let's like 3 main buckets. First, the one people often think of with the highest value, and yeah, often the biggest time sink initially, online courses.
These are your structured learning programs. Think videos, maybe slides, worksheets, quizzes, often on platforms like Teachable or Kajabi. They definitely need more production effort, but, well, you can charge more for them too.
Okay. Then the next level down maybe is ebooks and guides.
Yep. Pure information products. Digital documents teaching something specific. Much faster to create, sometimes just weeks. But generally, people expect to pay less than for a full course.
And the third bucket is kind of a catch-all, other digital products. That seems really broad.
It is. And this is where simple things can sometimes sell in massive numbers. We're talking templates, like design templates for Instagram, printable planners people love, or spreadsheets with formulas already built in. Think budget trackers, tax calculators, stuff like that.
So why does this whole knowledge economy model work so well? The sources really hammer home one core idea. People will pay for speed and clarity. If you can teach them something or give them a tool that saves them hours of frustration, they'll pay for it.
Absolutely. They're buying the result, the transformation, not just the raw information. They want the shortcut you provide.
Okay, let's make this concrete. The examples really show that leverage idea, do it once, benefit long term. Take the cake baking course example mentioned. Let's say a baker spends, maybe 40 hours planning, filming, editing 10 video lessons. Professional style cakes.
Right. That 40 hours, that's the upfront investment. It's done. They upload it to a platform. Now, whether just one person buys it this month or 1,000 people buy it, the baker's time input is still basically that initial 40 hours. That ratio, time to return, that's the heart of passive income right there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, contrast that with ebooks. They're faster to make. I remember that story about the person who wrote a 60-page ebook, How to Start Freelancing. Took about a month. Priced it low, maybe $15. Started slow, just a few sales a week initially.
But that low barrier to entry is key. It lets you test the waters quickly. And, the crucial thing with an ebook, it's easy to update. Market changes, new trend. You can revise a 60-page PDF in a weekend, maybe, refilming 10 hours of video. That's a much bigger job. Ebooks offer agility.
Good point. And then we have templates. Often the highest profit for the time you put in, it seems. I mean, we've all needed a budget tracker or something similar, right? I bought one recently, actually. It was this really complex Excel sheet, amortization schedules, the works.
And think about the person who made that. They probably spent, an afternoon, maybe a day, building the formulas, making sure it worked, packaging it up nicely. If they sell that utility for, say, $10 and sell 1,000 copies, 2,000, that's an amazing return on just a bit of focused work. People buy templates because the value is instant. They skip the headache of figuring it out themselves.
Okay, so the model's powerful. We get that. But if you're listening and thinking, okay, I have some knowledge, the big question is, how do you actually do it? How do you turn that knowledge into a product without getting totally bogged down trying to make it perfect? Let's look at the roadmap the sources suggest. Going beyond just listing steps, what are the key decision points?
Yeah, this framework is designed to tackle that exact problem.
Yeah.
Getting stuck before you even start. Analysis paralysis.
All right, step 1. Identify your skill or knowledge. And this isn't just like your day job skills, right? It could be cooking, design, sure. But maybe you're amazing at organizing closets. Or you've mastered, sourdough bread. Or maybe you taught your kids Spanish successfully. What do you know that someone else would pay for a shortcut to learn?
Exactly. Then, step 2, choose the format. This is critical. You've got to pick something that feels natural to you. And it needs to align with what people expect for that topic. If you absolutely hate being on camera, maybe don't aim for a video course right away. If you're great with visual structure, maybe templates, or those fancy spreadsheets are your thing.
Makes sense. Step 3, validate the demand. Okay, this feels like the most important one. Don't just build it and hope they come.
Absolutely crucial. Don't create something in a vacuum. You need proof, real evidence that people are already spending money on solutions like this. So, You go search. Look on Amazon for books, Google for blogs and ads, check Etsy for templates, browse Udemy or Skillshare for courses in your niche.
Okay, but hang on. What if you search and you find tons of similar products? Doesn't that mean it's like saturated, too much competition?
That's a common fear, but the sources actually argue the opposite. Competition usually confirms there is a market. People are buying. Saturation is often a myth, especially in knowledge work. The trick isn't finding an empty space, it's finding your specific angle within that space. If everyone's selling a generic photography 101 course, maybe you create night sky photography for beginners or smartphone food photography for Instagram. You're not trying to be first. You're aiming to be the most relevant for a specific group of people.
Got it. Find your niche within the niche.
Precisely, which leads right into step 4. Create your product. Just create the first version. Focus hard on making it clear and delivering the result you promised. The sources really warn against perfectionism here. Don't wait to launch version 2.0. Get version 0.8 or even 0.7 out there. Launch what they call the minimum viable product, get feedback, and then improve it.
Okay. Launch fast, iterate later. Step 5. Upload it to a platform. This sounds like another big decision point. Marketplace or your own site.
Yep, a major fork in the road. You've got 2 main paths. Path 1, marketplaces like Udemy for courses or Etsy for templates and printables. The huge advantage, they have built-in traffic, millions of buyers already browsing. The big downside, they often take a hefty commission, sometimes 50% or even more. And, crucially, they usually control the customer relationship and data.
Okay, so convenience versus control and profit. What's path 2?
Path 2 is self-hosting, using a platform like Gumroad, Podia, Kajabi, or even just your own website with something like WooCommerce. Here, you keep almost all the profit, maybe 95, 100%, and this is huge. You own the customer list, their email addresses. But now the marketing burden falls entirely on you, which brings us to step 6.
Step 6, promote it through content. If you self-host, nobody knows your product exists unless you tell them.
Exactly. Your product is just sitting there otherwise. This is why content marketing is so vital if you self-host. You need to share free, valuable stuff, tips, tutorials, maybe previews on a blog, YouTube, social media, wherever your potential customers hang out. That free content draws people in, builds trust, and acts as a pathway to your paid product.
Right. The free stuff earns the right to offer the paid stuff. And finally, step 7, automate the sales process. This sounds like where the passive part really kicks in.
It is. This is the absolute key difference between truly passive income and just creating another job for yourself. It's not enough to just give someone a download link after they pay. Real automation means the whole chain works together seamlessly. Your payment processor, say Stripe or PayPal, needs to automatically trigger the product delivery system, like Gumroad sending the file or Kajabi giving course access, and also automatically add that buyer's email to the right list in your email marketing tool, like MailChimp or ConvertKit.
So all those systems need to talk to each other.
Yes. If they don't, you'll be stuck manually emailing files or adding people to lists. That is not passive. Tools like Zapier actually exist pretty much just to connect all these different online services together to make that automation happen.
Okay, that adds a lot more depth to the roadmap. Let's shift gears slightly. Longevity and scale. Once you've launched that first product, the sources suggest things get easier, you build momentum.
Definitely. And this is where the idea of product stacking comes in, or sometimes it's called building an ecosystem or a value ladder.
Explain that, the value ladder concept.
Well, think about your customer's journey with you. Maybe that $15 ebook isn't the final destination. It's the entry point, the first step on the ladder. Someone buying that proves they trust you enough to spend some money in this area. That purchase then makes them much more likely to consider the next step up the ladder, perhaps your $150 signature course. And maybe later there's a $50 template bundle that helps them implement things faster.
So you're essentially increasing the lifetime value of each customer you attract. That resume template seller example on Etsy really illustrates this, doesn't it? She didn't stop at one template.
No, not at all. She started with one, saw it was selling, which validated the market. Then she started adding variations, a minimalist design, a chronological one, one specifically for tech roles, one for creatives. She was stacking related products. She went from just one template to over 50, all digital downloads. And eventually that became her full-time income because she kept finding these small related problems she could solve for the same audience.
That's powerful. Another crucial strategy for making this passive income last seems to be focusing on evergreen content.
Yes, absolutely critical for long-term success with less ongoing work. Evergreen means the topic stays relevant for years. It doesn't expire quickly. Think about timeless skills or fundamental needs. A guide on, say, how to use Photoshop version X will eventually become outdated as the software changes. But a guide on the fundamental principles of graphic design, that's pretty timeless. Or how to bake sourdough bread.
So choosing evergreen topics minimizes how often you need to go back and update everything. A guide on the best social media trends for 2024 needs constant rewriting. But how to create a family budget that works, much more stable, needs maybe minor tweaks every few years.
Exactly. Build your passive income on solid, timeless foundations where possible.
Okay, before we wrap up, there's one more big thing. It's that internal barrier, that voice that stops people. The who am I to teach this? I'm not the world's top expert feeling, imposter syndrome.
Ah, yes, the classic hurdle. It kills so many potential products before they even start. The sources are clear on this. You absolutely do not need to be the #1 global authority. You just need to know more than the person you're trying to help. You need to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of them on their journey.
And sometimes that's actually better for the learner, right?
Often, yes. Think about learning guitar. If you're a total beginner, who would you rather learn from? The world-famous rock god who hasn't thought about basic chords in 30 years? Or someone who is struggling with those same exact chords just 6 months ago and clearly remembers the sticking points? That person who's just a bit ahead can offer relatability, specific tips for common frustrations, and, crucially, confidence. People aren't just buying information. They're often buying the confidence that they can achieve the result, too.
That's a great way to put it. All right, let's bring this all together then. The big takeaway here seems to be that creating digital products, whether it's courses, ebooks, templates, whatever, it's a very real, very achievable way to build passive income. You're taking knowledge you already have, packaging it once, setting up the systems, and letting that initial effort compound over time into potentially significant income and freedom.
So the question for you listening is, what skill, what piece of knowledge, what solution could you package up? Even something small to start. A 20-page guide. A pack of 5 useful printables. Plant that seed now. Do that validation step. Build the simplest version. Get it out there. Trust the process.
Yeah, start small, learn the ropes, and just as a little teaser, a provocative thought for next time. The sources we looked at also touch on what comes after leveraging your time like this. The next level seems to be leveraging your money directly. So in our next deep dive, we'll be exploring that world automated investing, things like stocks, maybe peer-to-peer lending, robo-advisors, how your capital itself can start generating income pretty much without your day-to-day involvement. That's when passive income starts to get really, really interesting. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into a topic so many of you have asked about, online investing. It's not just saving, right? It's really about making your actual money start working for you.
Exactly. It's like financial delegation. I often tell people, think of your money as an employee. Probably your best one, actually. It works 24/7, no complaints, no holidays.
Yeah, the perfect employee.
But, and this is key, you have to be the CEO.
Yeah.
You set the direction, you manage it wisely.
Absolutely. And that old idea that investing is only for, Wall Street types or high-stakes gamblers, that's really outdated now. Our sources, they make it super clear. It's accessible.
Oh, completely. The barriers are way down.
You can start small, use your phone even. But the real trick is knowledge and, well, sticking with it. Having a plan.
Yeah, that's what we're doing today. A deep dive into the core assets you'll encounter online. We need to get past just definitions. We're looking at stocks, ETFs, and index funds for stability. The wild ride of crypto, maybe peer-to-peer lending.
You're right, becoming the bank.
Yeah. And REITs, for getting into property without the hassle.
Okay, perfect. Let's unpack that. Starting with the classic, stocks. We know it's owning a tiny piece of a company, like Apple or whatever, but how should investors really think about that ownership?
Well, the sources really stress understanding the 2 ways you profit. First, capital gains. Simple enough. The price goes up, you sell, you make money.
Standard.
But second, and sometimes people forget this, dividends. Those little cash payments some companies send out regularly. And knowing the difference between a company reinvesting for growth versus one paying out dividends, well, that changes your whole strategy.
Yeah, I remember my first stock buy. It was tiny, like $50. Just wanted to see how it worked. And when it grew to maybe $80 over a year, it wasn't the $30. It was the feeling like, wow, this money grew itself without me doing extra work.
That aha moment is so important. And like you said, accessibility is huge now. Robinhood, eToro, local apps. The entry point is low. Consistency really matters more than a big starting sum.
Yeah, starting with $25 a week regularly is way better than waiting years to save up thousands.
Absolutely, it builds a habit.
Okay, but picking individual stocks, that sounds intense. Researching companies, reports, it feels like a job in itself.
It can be, definitely.
Okay, so for people who maybe don't have that time or inclination, there's an easier way, ETFs and index funds.
Yes, and this is a major point from the research. Think of ETFs as like ready-made baskets. They hold hundreds, sometimes thousands of different stocks all bundled together. Instant diversification.
So instead of betting on just Google or Amazon,
Right.
you buy a tech ETF and boom, you got a piece of both, plus Microsoft, plus whoever else spreads the risk out.
Exactly. And the sources point out something crucial. Historically, these index funds often outperform the expert stock pickers.
Really? Why is that? Is it just the diversification?
That's part of it, reducing company-specific risk. If one stock tanks, the whole basket barely notices. But the other, often missed, factor, fees, the expense ratio.
Ah, the cost of holding it.
Precisely. Passive index funds often have tiny fees, like less than 0.1%. Those low costs, compounded over years, make a huge difference compared to expensive, actively managed funds.
That's fascinating. So it's not just what you own, but how much it costs you to own it. It makes sense why Buffett recommends them.
It really does. Simplicity, low cost.
Yeah.
It's a marathon strategy, not a sprint. You're basically betting on the whole economy growing over time.
Okay, so we've covered the, let's say, steadier options. But what about where the action is? The big potential rewards and, frankly, the big risks. That has to be crypto, right?
Digital assets, blockchain technology, that's the foundation. The appeal is often that decentralization, no single government or bank controls it. And sometimes it moves differently than the stock market.
We mostly hear about Bitcoin, the digital gold idea, limited supply.
Right, capped at 21 million.
And Ethereum, which seems more like a platform for building things.
Yeah, more like the operating system for decentralized apps or dApps.
Yeah.
But, and this is a huge but from all the sources, the volatility is just extreme.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, seeing your investment drop 30% in a week, that's not unusual in crypto. Lots of people got burned chasing hype.
Okay, so for someone listening who's curious, but maybe wants to be smart about it, not just throw money at Bitcoin and hope, what did the research suggest?
Well, beyond just buying and holding, the sources mentioned looking into things like staking.
Staking?
Yeah, where you lock up certain coins to help run the network and you earn interest for doing it. It generates income, but your coins are often locked for a period.
Interesting.
And then there are stable coins pegged to something like the US dollar. They offer a way to hold value digitally without the wild price swings of, say, Bitcoin.
So the advice is basically treat it like an experiment, keep the amount small.
Absolutely. Maybe like 5% of your total investments max, especially when you're starting. Understand the tech if you can.
And crucially, only invest what you could truly afford to lose.
That's the golden rule. If it went to zero tomorrow, it shouldn't wreck your financial life. Just be an oh well.
Right. Okay, shifting gears completely. Let's talk about generating income in a different way. Peer-to-peer lending, P2P. This is where you essentially become the bank.
Pretty much. Platforms like Lending Club or Funding Circle connect people who want to lend money directly with people or businesses who need to borrow. You earn interest on the loans you fund. Instead of the bank getting that interest, you do.
I like the idea of flipping the script like that, but the big risk has to be people just not paying back their loans, right? Defaulting.
That's the main one, yes. Borrower default risk.
So how do you manage that? Do the platforms help?
Diversification is the main tool here. The platforms encourage it. You don't put $1,000 into one loan. Instead, you might put $20 into 50 different loans. So if one person defaults, it's a small hit. The other 49 are still paying.
Okay, spreading it thin makes sense for default risk. But the sources also flagged another issue, didn't they? Something about getting your money back out.
Ah, yes. Liquidity risk. That's critical to understand with P2P. Meaning your money is tied up for the loan term, maybe 3 years, maybe 5. Unlike stocks you can sell instantly, these loans aren't very liquid. If you suddenly need that cash back early, you might be stuck or have to sell your loan portion at a big discount on a secondary market, if one even exists.
So it's passive income, but it's definitely not cash you can grab quickly if needed.
Exactly. It's a long-term commitment for that income stream.
Right. One more asset class. Getting into real estate without buying a building. REITs.
Real estate investment trusts. Yep. These are companies whose whole business is owning or financing properties. Think shopping malls, apartment buildings, office towers, even cell towers.
And by buying a share of a REIT.
You get instant fractional ownership in that huge portfolio. It's a shortcut to real estate investing.
Which is great because buying actual property needs a ton of capital up front and hassle, landlords, repairs.
Right. REITs let you start with maybe just a few dollars. You get exposure to property values, potentially appreciating over time, plus income.
And the income piece is interesting with REITs, isn't it? Something about how they're structured.
Yes, this is a key technical point from the sources. To keep their special tax status, REITs are legally required to pay out most of their taxable income, usually at least 90% to shareholders as dividends.
Wow, 90%. So the income stream is almost built in by law.
Pretty much. That's why they're popular for income investors. Those dividends tend to be quite steady.
Are they all the same, though? Or are there different kinds?
Good question. No, they're not all the same. You mainly have equity REITs, which own the actual buildings and collect rent. That's most of them. But then you also have mortgage REITs, or MIS. They don't own buildings. They invest in mortgages and mortgage-backed securities.
Okay, so lending money for property, not owning property.
Right. And MITs often pay higher dividends, but they're much more sensitive to interest rate changes, generally riskier than equity REITs.
So knowing the difference matters for your risk level.
Absolutely. Diversification within REITs means knowing what kind you're buying.
Okay, we've covered a lot of what to invest in: stocks, ETFs, crypto, P2P, REITs. But that's only half the picture. We need to talk about how to invest, the strategies, the mindset. Because markets go up and down, right? How do you stick with it?
That is probably the single biggest lesson from all the research. The long view. Patience. Investing isn't about getting rich quick next month. It's about wealth building over years, decades even, letting compounding work its magic.
And the biggest trap people fall into, that emotional roller coaster.
Oh, absolutely. Emotional investing, it kills returns.
Buying high because everyone's excited, FOMO kicks in.
Yep, agreed. And then selling low when prices dip because suddenly everyone's panicking. Fear takes over.
Selling at the bottom, locking in losses.
Exactly. It's human nature. But successful investors learn to fight it. They often do the opposite. They see dips as buying opportunities. They hold on, stay calm. Mindset over market timing.
That emotional control is tough. But strategy, you can systematize that. What does a practical checklist look like based on the sources?
It boils down to about 4 core habits, really. First, invest regularly. Don't try to guess the market's peaks and troughs. Just steady contributions. Dollar cost averaging.
Okay, consistency. What else?
Second, diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread across stocks, ETFs, maybe some REITs, perhaps that small experimental crypto slice if it fits your risk tolerance.
Makes sense. Third,
reinvest your dividends. Don't just take the cash, plow it back in automatically to buy more shares. That accelerates the compounding.
okay, automatic reinvestment. And the last one.
Keep that long-term perspective. Years, not months. Market drops. See them as discounts, not disasters. If the underlying reason you invested hasn't changed, stay the course.
That consistency point, it seems so simple but so powerful. There is that example in the research, right? Someone investing just $200 a month.
Yeah, $200 every month into a basic index fund for 10 years, didn't time anything, just kept doing it.
And the result?
It grew into tens of thousands, far more than if they'd waited for the perfect time or tried to actively trade in and out. It just shows boring consistency wins.
Compounding, doing the heavy lifting, you just need discipline.
Exactly. Patience and persistence, not genius.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for listeners? It feels like the main message is, this isn't some exclusive club anymore. Online investing has opened the doors.
Totally. With small amounts, smart choices based on understanding these assets, and crucially, patience. You really can make your money work for you, that employee we talked about. You can hire it.
So the final thought is, don't wait.
Yeah, don't wait for the perfect moment or until you feel like an expert. The biggest cost is often just procrastination. The sooner you start, even small, the sooner that compounding clock starts ticking. Getting started, putting that first dollar to work, that's probably the most important step you'll take.
Welcome to the deep dive. So if you're listening to this, chances are you've hit that frustrating point, right? Your passive income thing, it's working, maybe even really well. But the work, just keeping it going all by yourself, it's becoming, well, overwhelming. You've hit a ceiling.
The ceiling is definitely real.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a blog, an online store, maybe an affiliate site that took off. You suddenly realize, oh, wow, more success equals more of my own hours.
Exactly. You end up trapped in the business, not working on it.
Yep. From creator to full-time manager of tiny tasks.
So our mission today,
Mhm.
breaking through that ceiling, we looked at a bunch of sources about scaling strategically, and honestly, they all hammered the same two things.
Two magic words almost.
Right. Automation and outsourcing. That's the focus. We want to give you the playbook to become like the architect of your business again, not the janitor stuck cleaning up messes.
Precisely. It's moving beyond just making money online to designing, sustainable systems for wealth.
Yeah.
If the thought of one more client or launching one more thing makes you want to scream.
Yeah. Been there.
You don't need more coffee or fewer hours of sleep. You need smarter systems, leverage systems.
Okay, let's kick off with automation. I kind of like thinking of it as building your own little robot assistant army.
Robots that don't need breaks.
Exactly. No weekends off, no sick days. Technology just repeats processes for you endlessly behind the scenes.
It's basically about finding those repetitive bits and just taking yourself out of the equation for them. People jump to email, but it's broader than that.
Oh, yeah. Email's a big one for sure. But we're talking more sophisticated stuff now, not just blasting newsletters. Modern tools like MailChimp, ConvertKit, they use conditional logic, meaning if a customer does X, like buys product A, then they automatically get sequence Y, maybe promoting an upsell.
Or if they ditch their shopping cart, they get sequence Z trying to bring them back. It's tailored communication, running 2147 without you lifting a finger.
That definitely deepens engagement. But what about connecting things? Like getting different apps to talk to each other? That's where I always got bogged down. Moving payment info from Stripe to my CRM, then maybe making a task in Trello manually.
Right, and that's the next layer, middleware. Tools like Zapier or IFTTT, if this then that, they're like the universal translators for apps.
The glue.
The essential glue, yeah. You don't need code. You just tell it, when this happens in app A, automatically do that in app B, and maybe this other thing in app C.
Okay. So one sale could trigger like 3 different automatic actions.
Easily.
Yeah.
That's where you really start saving labor. True automation.
You know, my big aha moment with this wasn't even about making more money initially. It was pure time saving. I used Buffer, one of those social media schedulers.
Good tool.
Spent maybe an hour scheduling out 3 solid weeks of posts. Before that, it was like 10 minutes, 3 times a day, every single day, interrupting whatever else I was doing.
That broken focus time adds up incredibly fast.
Totally. So yeah, automation felt like cloning myself digitally.
And here's a key insight that often gets missed. You can't really automate effectively without, getting organized first. It sounds boring, but documentation is key.
SOPs, standard operating procedures.
Exactly. You need a clear written down process for the task before you try to automate it. Otherwise, your robot assistant is just going to automate the confusion faster.
Automating chaos. Got it. Okay, so the robots are handling the simple, repetitive stuff. But then there's the work that needs, human judgment or specific skill you don't have.
And that's the perfect segue into outsourcing, moving from tech tools to, people, strategic people management.
Right, bringing in others for things that honestly don't need your personal magic touch, even if they're complex.
And the amazing thing now is how accessible this is. You don't need to set up payroll or an HR department, not for this. Platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer, boom, instant access.
Global talent pool, right. For design, admin help, tech support, whatever.
Anything you can imagine, pretty much.
Okay, but let's push back a bit here, because I know listeners think this. If I'm paying someone, say, $25 an hour to edit my videos, isn't that just eating directly into my profit? How do I know that's actually worth it? Or am I just, spending cash hoping I'll magically become more creative with the time I save?
That's a super valid question.
Yeah.
And it forces this really crucial mindset shift. You have to stop seeing it purely as an expense.
Okay.
And start thinking about it as return on investment of time.
Yeah.
ROIT, let's call it.
ROI of time. I like that.
Think about it. If you spend 10 hours slogging through video editing, something you hate and you're slow at, you've just burned 10 hours of your most valuable asset, your time and focus. Now, what if you pay someone, say, $200 and they do it in 4 hours, probably better than you could? You haven't just spent $200. You've bought back 10 hours of your own time.
So the goal isn't just saving money, it's freeing up my time to do, the stuff only I can do. The high value work.
Exactly. And we need to be really clear what that high value work is for a founder or a solo creator. It's the strategic stuff.
Like planning the next big thing.
Yeah, strategic planning, the overall product vision, landing major partners, creating your core content or IP, building key relationships, stuff that moves the needle.
The things that actually grow the business.
Right. Outsourcing clears away the clutter, the busy work, so you can spend ideally like 90% of your energy on those activities. That's how you really scale. Okay, let's make this concrete. How about we apply this A&O automation and outsourcing to a couple of common scenarios? Let's start with an e-commerce store.
Perfect. That's where A&O can really sing, I bet.
Oh yeah. For e-commerce, automation is like the central nervous system. Payments, obviously, through Stripe or Shopify. But think deeper. Inventory tracking.
Yeah, running out of stock when ads are running is painful.
Exactly. So automated alerts when stock is low, maybe even automatically pausing ads for those products. That saves money right there. And customer support. It has to start automated.
Chatbots.
Sophisticated chatbots, yeah. For the common stuff, where's my order?
Right.
What's your return policy?
Instant, standard answers. Frees up human agents for complex issues.
Okay, that's automation. What about outsourcing for the store owner?
Anything visual or logistical, usually. Product photography, video. Unless you're a pro with a studio, outsource that immediately.
Makes sense. Quality matters there.
Huge difference. And returns management, that's tedious, right? Handling the emails, checking the item, processing the refund. Perfect for a well-trained virtual assistant, a VA, following your SOP.
Right, following the rules you set. Exactly. So picture this. You wake up. Orders came in overnight. They're processed. Inventory's tracked. Basic customer questions were answered by the bot. Maybe a return was initiated by your VA. Payments cleared.
And I just look at the dashboard instead of doing all those little tasks myself.
That's the goal. You're reviewing performance, not stuck in fulfillment.
Okay, nice. What about digital creators? Writers, YouTubers, podcasters, course creators?
Yeah, different world, but same principles. Funnel automation and content delegation are huge here.
Delegation, okay, I can see that. For YouTubers, it's not just the video edit itself, right? It's everything around it.
Totally. The whole workflow. Uploading, writing descriptions, tags, making the thumbnail that's graphic design, often outsourced. Even handling the first wave of comments could be a VA.
And for course creators, that funnel seems critical.
Absolutely critical. Automating the entire student journey, from the landing page to payment to getting them access on Kajabi or Teachable or whatever platform.
And the welcome emails, follow-ups?
All of it. That funnel can get complex fast. You might have 10 steps, payment confirmation, user added to course, welcome sequence starts, maybe an SMS notification, tagging them in your email list for future offers.
Wow, okay. That sounds like Zapier working overtime.
It often is.
Yeah.
Middleware connecting everything. It relies on that conditional logic we talked about.
So the simple rule seems to be, if a task takes like 5 hours of tedious execution, but only 10 minutes of my creative input or direction.
Bingo, that's a prime candidate for delegation. Outsource it.
We got to circle back to burnout. Because I think the fear of spending money on outsourcing is tied up with the fear of it going wrong, right? So people just keep doing it all themselves.
They try to keep that expense column at zero.
Yeah. But the cost is their sanity, their energy.
It's the ultimate false economy. We really have to stress this. Your focus, your energy, that's your real currency as an entrepreneur. If spending, say, $100 on outsourcing social media posting frees you up for 3 solid hours to design your next big product launch, that $100 is probably the best investment you'll make all week.
It keeps you in the game, keeps you focused on growth, not just maintenance.
Keeps you sane and productive on the things that matter.
And the shift, using A&O, it really changes your whole role, doesn't it? You stop being the worker bee.
And become the system designer.
Yeah.
You're not chasing daily tasks anymore, the emails, the edits, the shipping logistics. You're tweaking the engine, optimizing the system you built.
That feels like the difference between just working harder and actually scaling.
It is the difference. It's linear growth versus leveraged growth. Linear is trading more hours for slightly more income. Leveraged growth using A&O means you build systems that work without your direct input for every dollar earned.
So income goes up, but your workload doesn't necessarily go up at the same rate.
Or it might even go down eventually. That's the real power.
And the foundation for being that system designer, it comes back to those SOPs again, doesn't it? The documentation.
Always. You cannot hire effectively, you cannot automate effectively until you've clearly defined what does success look like for this task and written it down step by step.
Like that freelancer example from the source material, the one who was drowning.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't just hire a person. She designed 3 systems. One for getting clients automated onboarding, one for doing the work outsourced design using really clear SOPs, and one for admin outsourced invoicing.
And the result wasn't just more clients.
Nope. Double the clients, sure, but she charged more because her whole operation looked and felt more professional. And she had way more free time because she was managing the system, not doing every task, reviewing, not executing.
Okay, let's tackle those fears head on. People worry. What if I automate something complex and it breaks? What if I hire a freelancer and the quality is just terrible? How do you actually manage that risk?
Yeah, valid concerns. And the answer isn't hope for the best. It requires a phased, deliberate approach. The biggest mistake is expecting perfection right out of the gate.
Don't just flip a switch on a 10-step automation and cross your fingers.
Please don't. Okay. No, start small. Test one piece rigorously. Maybe just a simple 3-email welcome sequence. Watch it like a hawk. Check the data. Does it fire correctly? Does the info transfer?
Audit it.
Audit it before you scale it. And if you're using Zapier or similar tools, make sure you set up error notifications. You want to know instantly if a connection breaks.
Okay, that makes sense for automation. What about the people side? Hiring freelancers?
Same principle. Start small. Test project. Always, never, ever give a brand new freelancer your most critical make or break project on day one.
Treat it like dating, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Start with coffee, not proposing marriage. Hire them for one tiny specific task, like write one blog post intro, edit 2 minutes of audio, design one social media graphic, something low risk.
What are you looking for in that test?
Quality, obviously, but also communication style. Do they ask good questions? Do they meet the deadline? How do they handle feedback?
Okay. Assessing the whole package.
Exactly. Once they prove themselves on that small scale, then you gradually give them bigger pieces of the system. And you define clear KPIs, key performance indicators.
Measurable goals.
Right. Are they hitting a 95% on-time delivery rate? Is customer satisfaction staying high if they handle support? You shift from, are they good, which is subjective, to, are they meeting the documented standard? Managing the system, not just the person. That's the key to scaling with outsourcing successfully. #catch outro.
So if we zoom out and look at the big picture from today's deep dive, the main lesson really is, stop trying to be the hero doing everything alone. True scale comes from strategically removing yourself from the tactical stuff.
Using the right tools for the job.
Exactly. Use tech. Automate what's repeatable. Use people, outsource what needs skill or judgment you don't have or want to spend time on. The goal is to free up your time, your energy, for the high-level strategic work that only you can do.
We kind of uncovered that the real secret to passive income isn't just the money, is it? It's about building freedom.
That's it. And that freedom comes from having these reliable systems, automation, outsourced tasks running smoothly, generating results, whether you're actively working at that moment or not.
That ability to design a life,
Yeah.
not just a business, is the ultimate prize, I think, which actually ties into what we should probably explore next time. Yeah, taking this idea further, how do you actually balance that growing income and systemization with, designing a life you genuinely love living, moving past just financial metrics?
Lifestyle design meets scalable income. I like it. Looking forward to that conversation.
You too.
All right, stay informed, everyone.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So, if you're listening, chances are you spent some time, maybe a lot of time, and probably too much caffeine, looking into the mechanics of passive income.
Right. The funnels, the digital assets, affiliate marketing strategies, investments, all the automation stuff. People generally get the how-to.
Exactly. You know the nuts and bolts.
But the sources we've pulled together today, and this includes some interesting work from behavioral economists and successful life designers, they really shift the focus.
Yeah, they ask what feels like the only question that really matters in the end. Why?
What's the actual end goal here? If you build the perfect system, what does your life actually look like day to day?
So our mission today is basically to cut through all that noise and pull out the core principles for achieving what the experts are calling sustainable freedom.
Yeah, it's really about understanding that money is just the fuel. The real project, the engineering challenge, is designing a life that actually feels good, one that brings real joy and maybe peace.
Not just a bigger number in your bank account.
Definitely not. Because, if you launch 3 digital courses, build a great investment portfolio, everything's running. but you're still completely stressed out.
Checking dashboards 50 times a day.
Or constantly chasing the next tweak, the next optimization. The sources we looked at basically say you haven't achieved freedom at all.
You've just built yourself a new job.
And probably a more demanding one. You've hired yourself as the boss. Money has to be the tool you use, not the chain that ties you down.
Okay, so let's dig into that foundational idea, because this seems to be where things often go off track, right?
Absolutely. The sources are super clear on this. The word freedom is totally subjective.
Meaning if you just copy someone else's version of freedom.
You're basically guaranteed to build the wrong life for yourself. Yeah. And I think what's really fascinating in this material is how they break freedom down into these sort of actionable types.
Okay.
They talk about 3 main categories: time freedom, location freedom, and mental freedom.
Time, location, mental. Got it.
And they really insist you can't realistically optimize for all 3 perfectly at the same time, at least not when you're starting out.
That makes sense. I mean, if you're chasing location freedom, always moving around, your time freedom probably takes a hit, right?
Totally. You're dealing with logistics, finding good Wi-Fi in weird places. It takes time and energy.
So sustainable freedom, it starts with being honest about which one of those is your top priority right now.
Exactly. Like if time freedom is number 1, maybe you're designing these really high-value systems that need very little day-to-day input.
So you can spend more time with family or on hobbies.
Right. Even if you're still living in one place for the most part. It's about conscious trade-offs.
And what about that trap you mentioned earlier, the keeping up with the Joneses online, the fancy cars, watches? Does the research say that's always bad?
It warns against making it the main thing, the primary driver, because that often leads straight to what they call the hedonic treadmill.
Ah, right. You get the thing, feel good for a minute.
And then the buzz fades and you need the next bigger, better thing, so you have to work even harder.
And it never ends.
Pretty much. Sustainable freedom, they argue, it has to be built on something intrinsic, something you value. Maybe your actual perfect outcome is just, a small, cozy house near a lake.
And reliable systems that cover the bills, plus give you time to volunteer or learn pottery or whatever it is.
Precisely. It starts with honesty.
So we're really asking you, the listener, to strip away what society or social media says success looks like.
Yeah.
What's the simplest version of the life you genuinely want to sustain?
That's the blueprint. That's what you build towards.
Yeah.
And, okay, so if you've done that hard work, you've defined your version of freedom. The next big hurdle, according to these sources, is avoiding the entrepreneurial trap.
Ah, yes. This one feels really counterintuitive for a lot of people.
It really is.
The trap is basically building these passive systems, but then never actually being passive.
Right.
You never stop hustling.
Exactly. You launch one successful thing, maybe a course or an affiliate site, and immediately, what do?
Start planning the next one.
Right. Then another and another, until your calendar is just jam-packed with optimizing this, scaling that.
And suddenly you're busier, maybe more stressed than you ever were in your old 9-to-5 job.
You've literally just built another kind of cage. It's just this time you're holding the keys, supposedly.
Supposedly.
The sources argue that real freedom requires balance. It's not just about being productive. It's also about scheduling, restorative rest, planned downtime.
So productivity builds the systems.
And rest is the time you consciously set aside to actually enjoy the life those systems were meant to enable in the first place.
I hadn't really thought about the operational cost of just constant activity. We tend to treat rest like a bonus.
Like a reward you get after the next big launch or hitting some income goal. Yeah. But the material we reviewed, it reframes this completely. It says rest, hobbies, exercise, travel. These aren't luxuries you earn.
They're essential maintenance.
Essential maintenance for the system operator, which is you. Think about it. The biggest failure point in any complex automated system isn't usually the software.
It's the person running it.
Exactly. Burnout, bad decisions made under stress, the mental clarity you get from genuinely taking time off, that's actually your primary tool for efficiently checking your systems and making smart optimization choices.
So if you're exhausted and burned out, you're more likely to make reactive, maybe inefficient decisions about your business.
Absolutely. You tinker when you should leave things alone, or you miss obvious problems because you're just too tired to see straight.
Okay, so the key insight here is you have to schedule the enjoyment. You have to build in the rest before the system collapses.
Right. What's the point of having money drip in while you sleep if you're too mentally fried or physically unwell to actually enjoy your mornings or your weekends or whatever freedom you are aiming for?
The goal isn't just passive income, it's a low mental load.
That's a great way to put it. A low mental load lifestyle. Which brings us neatly to the practical side of things. The nuts and bolts again, but from a different perspective.
Right. We've talked about defining freedom, finding balance for yourself.
Yeah.
But what happens if the income stream itself, falters?
Yeah, that beautifully designed, balanced lifestyle could fall apart pretty quickly if the money stops. Passive income streams are amazing, they're powerful, but the sources give a pretty serious reality check here.
They're not bulletproof.
Not even close. This is the vulnerability check part of the process.
And if you just look back at the last, say, 5 years, how many major shifts have we seen? Markets go up and down, affiliate programs / commission rates.
Payment processors change their rules, platform algorithms get updated constantly. Things change, sometimes overnight.
So the sources talk a lot about diversification,
Right.
But it sounds like it's more than just have multiple income streams.
Oh, definitely. It needs to be deeper than that. It's about having different types of assets. Think of them as different kinds of shields against different kinds of risks.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, say all your income comes from SEO traffic to a blog. If Google rolls out a major algorithm update, poof, your income could tank.
Right, so diversification means maybe having that blog, which has SEO risk.
Balanced by, say, an email list. That's an owned audience, much lower platform risk.
Okay.
And maybe balanced again by some investments in totally different areas, like index funds or even real estate, which have market risks, but different ones.
So each part acts as a kind of backup, a redundancy for the others.
Precisely. There was one case study in the material, a creator who lost, I think it was 80% of their YouTube ad revenue almost instantly.
Wow, why?
The platform changed its rules about monetizing content in certain foreign languages. Just like that.
And that sudden panic, that oh my God moment, that's what this diversification and protection is designed to prevent.
Exactly. And that leads directly to the other shield, the non-negotiable one, savings, an emergency fund.
Because passive income doesn't mean you just spend everything that comes in.
Absolutely not. You have to build and maintain a solid emergency fund. The general advice is what? 6 to 12 months of your core living expenses?
Yeah, something like that.
And that fund, it's not just money sitting there, it's buying you mental peace of mind.
So if one stream does dry up unexpectedly or just slows down,
you aren't forced into making desperate, short-sighted decisions just to pay the bills next month. You have breathing room to fix the problem properly or pivot strategically. It protects the whole long-term system.
Okay, so if freedom is the ultimate goal and we need balance and protection, how we manage the day-to-day stuff must be pretty critical too, right? It's like the operating manual.
Totally. Sustainable freedom isn't just a big number in an investment account. It really comes down to the daily and weekly habits and routines, the ones that maintain both the business and, crucially, the person running it. And we kind of need to split these into two categories based on the research. The business habits and the personal habits.
Okay, let's start with the business side. What does that look like?
Well, the sources really push for structured, low-stress maintenance. It's the opposite of that frantic, always-on hustle culture we talked about.
Less reacting to every notification, more planned work.
Exactly. It's about dedicated time for, system auditing. Deep work, but focused.
So maybe scheduling, say, 2 hours every Friday morning. Use that time specifically to review the finances, check the vital signs of your main income streams, plan any small tweaks.
Rather than just randomly diving into your analytics dashboard 10 times a day whenever you feel anxious or get a notification.
That sounds much calmer. It prevents the system itself from becoming a constant source of mental drain.
Precisely. That kind of deliberate, systemic review keeps things healthy without overwhelming you. But then, and this is key, you have to connect that directly to the personal habits.
Ah, right. Because if your own energy levels are low or you're burned out,
your ability to do that focused, clear-headed system audit just plummets. Your decision-making suffers.
And that's the link the sources really hammer home, isn't it? That your health is fundamental to your business success, especially in this context.
Absolutely. Things like regular exercise, decent nutrition, maybe some kind of mindfulness practice, or even just simple journaling. These aren't nice to haves.
They give you the actual energy and clarity needed to not only grow the business side, but maybe more importantly, to actually enjoy the life that business is supposed to be funding.
Exactly. Take journaling, for instance. The sources point out it's not just about, venting or feeling good. It can be a really powerful diagnostic tool.
How so?
Well, by writing down your frustrations, where you feel friction during the week, you start to pinpoint which parts of your supposedly passive system are actually creating the biggest mental burden for you.
So it helps you identify what really needs to be automated better, or maybe outsourced next.
Right. It helps you prioritize. Because freedom feels pretty hollow if your health is shot or you're constantly stressed. Your personal habits have to actively support the lifestyle you're trying to design and maintain. It's all interconnected.
So let's assume you've got the systems humming, you've found some balance, your emergency fund is healthy. What's next? The material seems to suggest there's another layer to this freedom thing.
Yeah, it moves towards purpose.
Yeah.
Once your own basic needs are comfortably covered and the systems feel relatively stable, the question shifts. It becomes, how do you use this extra time, this leverage you've built, to make some kind of meaningful difference?
And it's interesting because the sources show that people who reach financial independence but don't have a clear sense of purpose, they often feel a bit lost.
Adrift, yeah. Or shallow. It's quite common, apparently. And what often happens is they just dive right back into building more stuff, more income streams, just for the sake of having something to do.
Because the money itself wasn't actually the end goal.
Exactly. Money without a purpose attached to it seems to lose its shine pretty quickly for a lot of people.
Now, when we say purpose here, it's not just about like donating to charity, though that's part of it for some.
Right. Purpose in this context is broader. It's about alignment. It could be something like mentoring others who are just starting out on this path.
Yeah.
Using your time freedom to help someone else get there faster.
Or it could be more creative, right? Maybe building some kind of community platform or writing that book you always wanted to write. Something that doesn't necessarily have to be a huge income generator, but feels important, provides impact.
Yeah, we're talking about leveraging both the capital and the time freedom you've created. Think about it. When you're stuck in a traditional job, your ability to make a wider impact is usually limited, right? By your lack of free time or maybe limited funds. Passive income, when it's stable, it completely flips that script. Now you have the capacity to contribute not just money, but potentially your most valuable asset, your focused time and your expertise.
So the core insight here really is about fulfillment then.
I think so. When the money you're generating is aligned with your deeper values, maybe that's environmental causes, maybe it's education, maybe it's just supporting your extended family, it just feels different. It feels exponentially more fulfilling.
And the people who seem happiest, the ones who sustain this freedom long term.
They're the ones chasing impact, not just the next income milestone. They use their freedom to make life better, not just for themselves, but for others too. And that seems to create this positive feedback loop that reinforces their own sense of well-being and purpose. And to make sure this freedom, this whole balanced system, is truly sustainable, it really demands a long-term view, an iterative mindset.
Meaning this isn't something you build once and it's perfect forever.
Definitely not. This balanced, automated lifestyle, it isn't built overnight. It takes steady, consistent progress. And you need to be willing to adjust the plan, tweak the map as you go.
So patience is key. Don't rush the process, and maybe celebrate the small wins along the way.
Oh, absolutely crucial. That first time your automated funnel makes a sale, like 10 sales, without you doing anything in that moment, that's huge. Celebrate it.
Or that first $20 affiliate commission that lands in your account while you're out hiking or something.
Yes, acknowledge those moments, because the real magic here is in the compounding effect of those small, consistent wins. Not just financially, obviously, but maybe even more importantly, in the time that gets returned to you. That compounds too.
Right. The time freedom grows incrementally.
And flexibility. That's vital for long-term survival too. Your dream life today might involve, I don't know, sailing around the world.
Sounds nice.
It does. But maybe in 5 years, you'll want to settle down, be closer to family, maybe even start a local hands-on business.
So the systems you build now need to be adaptable.
They need to be modular, ideally. Easy to scale down if needed, or automate even further, or pivot towards completely new priorities that you maybe can't even imagine right now. Rigid systems are brittle. They break under pressure. Flexible systems endure.
Okay, so it really circles back to that central theme we started with. You're not just building passive income streams. You're actually fundamentally redesigning the entire operating system for your life.
That's it exactly. Every single decision you make, what niche you choose, what software you use for automation, what tasks you decide to outsource versus keeping yourself. Every choice is actively shaping the lifestyle you'll have tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now.
So the key question isn't always, how do I make more money?
No. The question you need to keep asking yourself, constantly revisiting, is more like, what kind of life do I genuinely want to wake up to every single day? What's the simplest, lowest maintenance system I can build or adapt to reliably fund that specific vision? Hashtag tag outro.
All right, so to try and wrap up the huge amount we've covered today, sustainable freedom, it really isn't some fixed destination you arrive at.
No, it's much more like a dynamic balance you maintain. It's about leveraging smart systems, yes, strategic automation, definitely, but also protecting your energy, maintaining that mental clarity.
And always, always keeping your why, your purpose, ahead of just chasing profit.
And the rewards you're really aiming for, they go way beyond just the money, don't they?
Yeah. It's that profound sense of peace, waking up without that constant financial anxiety.
And having an abundance of time, actual free time to dedicate to the things and people that genuinely matter most to you.
So the advice is, start small, stay consistent, keep auditing your mental load.
And never lose sight of the why that's driving this whole life design project for you.
Your freedom is probably closer than you think.
But only if you design it intentionally, deliberately.
Okay, and before we wrap up, here's a final thought for you to chew on today. Since passive income, at its core, is about buying back your time. Think about this. How could you proactively use even a small amount of your growing freedom? Maybe it's just 5 or 10 extra minutes you gained back today to make life genuinely better for someone else.
Could be a family member, a friend, a colleague, maybe even a stranger online.
Right. Freedom gives you the power to design your own path. But maybe the greatest wealth comes from applying that freedom, that power, to create a positive impact, however small right now, today.
Wow, what a journey we've had today. From shifting your mindset to building digital assets, exploring affiliate marketing, creating courses, investing, automating, and finally finding balance. You now have a full roadmap to building passive income online.
And remember, it doesn't matter where you are starting from. What matters is that you start. Passive income is not about overnight success. It's about small, consistent steps that compound over time.
So, here's our challenge for you. Choose just one strategy we talked about today and take action on it this week. Whether it's researching affiliate programs, outlining an ebook idea, or learning about investing, just pick one and get moving.
And don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it with a friend who's also dreaming of financial freedom. Sometimes having an accountability partner makes all the difference.
If you found value in this session, make sure to subscribe, share, and stay tuned, because we've got so many more conversations to help you grow, learn, and achieve the freedom you deserve.
Your future self will thank you for the steps you take today. So go out there, start building, and we'll be cheering you on every step of the way.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep creating the life you've always imagined.